Hey guys, Mr. Mackey here. Now yesterday we were looking back at the three averages I taught you this week, and I was showing you how in certain circumstances we might have to use different averages to conquer the problems. So I set you the challenge to come up with a set of 7 numbers in order which give you a mean of 8, a median of 12 and a mode of 14. Now, I'm going to use my calculator for this because it's always helpful to keep track. The first thing that I'd like to look at is how we can then fill in this table. I can already tell you that one of the numbers that will go in here is 12 because it's slap bang in the middle. And how do I know that? Because 12 is our median. So 12 will go here. So we got that one sorted. So what about the others? How do we know which numbers to fit? Well, the next important thing we need to know is that the mean is 8. And remember, the mean is when you add all of these 7 numbers together and divide them by 7. So to find the total of all these numbers put together, we do our mean multiplied by how many numbers there are, which gives us 56. So the next thing we need to know is that all of these numbers, when put together, must get us a total of 56 to ensure us that we get a mean of 8. Now we go to our mode. Now, for this it does not matter how many times we put 14 in. What matters though is we have to make sure that when we do it, we still get a total that's less than 56, but we have to still put the 14 in more than once. Now, because I'm doing it in order, because of our median, we have to put our 14 in any of these 3 gaps here. And because 14 is quite a big number, for now I'm only going to put it in twice. So, what number goes in this gap? Well, if it goes 12, there's a gap, and then 14. The only number that can go here would be 13. So far we've got a 12, a 13 and 2 14s. So let's add these together. This gets us a total of 53. Now this is quite good because it means it's quite close to our mean. But the problem is we've now got 3 more numbers to add on to our total to ensure that we still meet our target of 56. These 3 numbers have to be lower than 12, but we also can't have any numbers appearing more than once, because that would mean that our mode of 14 won't apply. Now the good thing about data sets, for example when you use data sets and scores in exams, in time and speed, you can use the number 0. Even if the 0 is in a data set, you should always include it because that represents a person's mark in something. That still is part of the data set, so always use a 0 if a 0 is there. So 0 can be the next number. Now we've got 2 numbers left, and those 2 numbers have to add together to get 3 to make our total 56 to get us our mean of 8. What 2 numbers could we think of? Well, we could do a 3 and another 0, but that would mean a conflicting mode. So the only 2 numbers that this would work for are 1 and 2. So when you add these all together, you get a total of 56, getting us a mean of 8. We then got our median of 12, and because 14 is the only one that appears more than once, we get our mode of 14. Some of you might have gotten a slightly different answer to this, but this is how I see is the only way we can guarantee a good result. Now today, we're going to be moving on. We're moving on from averages, but we're still going to be looking at data sets. This time we're going to be looking at reliability and consistency, but in terms of how spread out our data is. There's 2 ways we can figure out how spread out our data is. There's a really complicated way, which we'll look at tomorrow. Let's look at the more simpler way today. So when we look at spread, it overall tells us how reliable a certain bit of data is. So for example, if we were using a new teaching method to see if it improves science results, and the science results are very varied and very spread out, then we might say that the new method isn't very reliable because it doesn't give us a consistently positive outlook. So how do we test for spread? Well, I've got a set of several numbers on here, 9, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to be more precise. I'm losing track. It's very hot. So how do we find the spread? Well, this is the easy method. So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to put these numbers in order, and that might give you a little clue. Let's do it. So now I've ordered them. How spread out is our data? Well, most people would see, well, why don't we just see how far it goes from here to here? It's quite a smart move. How can we then find that? Well, all you have to do is you look at the highest number, which in this case is 16, and the lowest number, which is 2, and you subtract them from each other. So we do 16 minus 2, and that will get us 14. And that tells us that the spread of our data ranges over 14 sets. Now this is known as the range, because it tells us how the range of the data from the lowest to the highest. So from this, if this was, for example, what I said, the new teaching methods and how I improve science results, we might say that it's not that effective because there is a big inconsistency, because the range is 14, which is huge. So for this, I don't think the teaching method is that effective. So remember, all you have to do to work out the range is you find the highest number and the lowest number and subtract them to get our answer. Now School A and School B are back, and they are now rivaling about their teaching methods in terms of exam success. School B argues, well, our school is obviously the better one because we have got a pupil that got full marks, 30 out of 30 in our test. But which school has the more effective teaching method? So what they did is they got 7 of the test results of their classes, and they decided to settle the argument. So using what I just taught you, let's see if we can figure out the range. Well, A, we go for the lowest, which is 20, and the highest, which is 28. This gives us a range of 8. For B, we have a lowest, which is 14, and the highest, which is 30, which gives us a range of 16. Double that of A. So we can argue that yes, some person got 30 marks from B's test, but A has a more consistent positive results. The results are so consistent, A in a way is doing better because all the pupils are doing better. It's pretty smart when you think about it. So like yesterday's challenge, here is your challenge for today. I want you to give me a set of 6 numbers. Now in these 6 numbers, they have to have a mean of 5, a range of 6, and a mode of 8. What's it going to look like? How are we going to do it? Good luck. I'm looking forward to seeing what you've worked out. They might be different answers to mine, but I'm looking forward to seeing them. See you tomorrow, guys. Take care.